Hey, this is Jordan Belfort, the real Wolf of Wall Street, and you're listening to The Anthony Rogers Show.
Welcome back to the greatest show in the universe. On the line today, we have Chris DeMakes from Less Than Jake, lead singer of the band. How you doing, man?
I am doing great. Thanks for having me.
I feel like I said your name wrong. Chris DeMakes, is that how you say it?
That is exactly how you say it.
Okay.
Yeah, people love to butcher my last name. You know, it's Greek, so it's technically how my grandparents pronounced it was DeMakes, but us Americans bastardized it with DeMakes. But people like to throw an R in there: DeMar, DeMakes, DeMakes, DeMakes. I've heard it all.
Yeah, I can instinctually tell that it was a name like that for some reason. Like after I said it, I hope I did that right, and I apparently didn't because like I did the American version of what your actual name is. It's funny.
No, it's really dumbed down and simple, but people always make it harder. I've lived with it my whole life, so yeah, I get it.
So Less Than Jake, I was reading this earlier, like doing a little homework and stuff. Like the band name actually came from like the drummer's parrot, mom's parrot, basically, that would like make noises during your guys' practice, and like she told you that like you guys are disturbing the bird, basically.
No, that's really funny because I had said that in an interview one time. No, it's completely wrong. I think it ended up on our Wikipedia page or something.
It did.
After a while, I got sick of people asking the question, especially when Wikipedia came along, because you could find out, I don't know if the parrot thing's on Wikipedia. I think the actual thing's on Wikipedia. I could be wrong. But I used to say to people, I just would make stuff up to be silly. And so our drummer, him and I, Vinny and I knew each other since high school, and we would practice in his parents' back bedroom, and they had an 85-pound English bulldog named Jake, and we would be back there, and we usually would get maybe 20, 25 minutes into a practice, just starting to get going, and inevitably the knock would come on the door, and Vinny's mom saying, "Hey guys," and it was because Jake would be howling. He didn't like the noise in the bass, so we'd have to stop playing, so we were Less Than Jake.
So it was a dog, not a parrot?
Yeah, it was a dog. Yep.
I feel like you're still bullshitting me. Like I don't know if you're.
No, not at all. That's the truth. Jake, he was the dog. We were Less Than Jake, and Vinny was also Less Than Jake. His parents, I'm not kidding. This dog only lived to be about 5 or 6 years old. He died of heart disease because the parents would feed it whatever they ate. So if they had steak and lobster, and then Vinny would be in the corner eating peanut butter and jelly and mac and cheese. So he was, we were all Less Than Jake.
That's hilarious. That is a funny concept. Like, you guys play St. Louis a lot at the pageant. Do you guys have any like good memories, like from coming to this town, or that's where I'm based, basically?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, the St. Louis has been amazing. The Midwest for Less Than Jake is just, they're all rock and roll towns, man. And St. Louis is one of the best. We cut our teeth at a place back in the '90s called the Galaxy. That was the first place we ever played, and then of course we've been all over from why am I blanking on it? It was the club that's now torn down, Mississippi Nights. We used to play there a ton, and then we of course did the pageant, Del Mar Hall, which is next door. We played there recently. We played Pops and Sauget, which is of course East St. Louis, as we all know, and I'm sure there's a couple other places that I can't recall, but yeah, St. Louis is great.
Yeah, you definitely know your market. That's interesting. Like, you seem like you don't smoke weed or get fucked up at all, do you?
No, I do not.
I can tell because you have a memory. It's like hilarious. Like, I usually.
No. I did for years. I don't anymore. I did but I have always had this memory. I've always had a great memory. Another place we played, I don't know if it's there anymore, it was called the Firebird. We did there a couple times. That was a cool little venue.
No, it is.
Trust me, I did my fair share. I used to party my ass off.
You just sound on it. Like, it impresses me. Like when you think of musicians, you usually think of like, I mean, not to be stereotyping, but the singer's usually not like this with it, I feel like. Like in bands, like
I've always had just a crazy memory. If you check out my Instagram page, I did a year worth of stories of the band that I'm now putting into a book. It's coming out this August. I would do a picture a day. I did it for 365 days in a row. Picture a day from the past of the band with an accompanying story, and people couldn't believe how much they're like, are you making all this stuff? I'm like, no, this is my recollection. I mean, Google helped too. A lot of times I Google, like, you know, I knew it was the Warped Tour 2001. I knew it was Orlando, but I didn't know exactly what day it was, of course. But, you know, so I had a little help with Google. But no, I've always had a photographic memory.
That's interesting. Okay, that's super. Well, this is kind of a stereotypical question. Like you had like high school bands, it seems like, and stuff. But well, what got you into music like originally? Like maybe influence or like moments, or what made you become like know that you were going to be a rock star or whatever?
My mom and dad. I mean, my mom and dad were musicians, so they, from the time I was you know, knee high, I was being taken around to bars, nightclubs, weddings. Anniversaries, birthday parties. My mom and dad were hired local musicians. My dad played a 12-string Rickenbacker guitar, and my mom, he had a drum machine. Him and my mom both sang and harmonized like amazing. My mom played tambourine. They were a duo, and dad started in '66 when he was 18, and it was like pretty much his other job. I don't even want to say part-time. He was entertaining 3, 4, 5 days a week, plus holding down a day job. And then that was from '66 when he graduated high school. He started doing that up until my mom joined him in 1978, and they did it until 2005. They were singers, so you know, music was just always welcomed in my house. It didn't matter if it was a Christian metal band like Stryper, or if it was Tom Petty, or if it was Slayer. My parents didn't care. They let me listen to whatever I wanted to. They never judged it. It was an open book. Music was open dialogue in the house. So. It was just there from day one. I never had no resistance from my parents.
That's awesome, man. I'd like to hear their music actually when you described it. I'm like, that actually sounds kind of cool. Did you have?
They were great.
That's awesome. Did you have like a moment like when you finally knew you made it, or whatever the making it is? Like, what was that like moment for you personally?
It was very early on, before any social media, before a record deal. We're talking, this was in the first 2 years of being a band. We were starting to, you know, travel outside of Gainesville, Florida, where we're from, a lot. We would like do weekend trips to Daytona Beach, or we'd go to Orlando or Jacksonville, and there were people showing up with our 7-inch record, with our cassette. And you know, zines were real popular back then. You know, that was the analog podcast. If someone would come along and go, dude, I do a zine. Will you know, can I interview you for it? And they'd have this little makeshift magazine. They'd steal copies at the local copy store and staple it together. And so people started wanting to interview us and wanting our autographs. And that's when I was like, it can't get any better than this. You know, and the clubs were giving us free beer at this point. So I was like somebody, like, I died and went to heaven, you know.
That's funny. So like, you guys were doing it from the beginning, it sounds like, and then just kept building on it. That's super interesting. Like a lot of people probably don't have that.
Oh, yeah, I found the right group of people. I mean, we worked our ass off. We the one thing, you know, music's subjective. You know, were we better than the other bands musically? That's your opinion. I don't know, but I do know that there was very few bands that worked as hard and as smart as we did. I mean, we would take maps out in Gainesville and take a quadrant and go, okay, Roger, you're going to this area, then you're going here, I'm going here. And we would go to the copy shop, and it was the university copy right there in Gainesville, and I'd walk in, I'd run off 2,000 or 3,000 photocopies, put them in my backpack, and brazenly walk up to the counter and go, how many copies? I go, 4. I'd put down 35 cents, I'd walk out the door, and I would take my map with my quadrant, and I would flyer for 3, 4, 5 hours. I'd go to the dorms on campus when, you know, I was only at this point, you know, 21, 22 years old. I could still blend in at that point, not get kicked off campus for being the creepy old guy. But you know, I would go to the dorm mailboxes in each dorm. I'd wait till the door swung open. I'd cruise in, and I had little, you know, 4x6 handbills. I'd shove in every one, and our shows were just, lack of a better word, were legendary back then. You know, we were a marketing machine. We worked our ass off. And that's why we got to where we were at. That and a little bit of luck, and we wrote a few good songs along the way. But that's pretty much it.
That's funny. Those are usually the guys that make it, the guys that just outwork everybody. That's interesting. Like, and I like your perception of music, because I agree with that actually, that it is all perception. Like that's interesting. I think ska was like a big thing. I mean, that was a huge. It was before my, like, I'm 33, so it was a little before my time. So I had to catch up in like Spotify. I mean before that, the Napster and stuff. I had to catch up in like Reflection more so, I feel like. But like I love that whole thing, man. You guys could definitely have great music, man. Like I like the whole, that genre is just great, honestly.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we didn't know we were part of anything when we were doing it. And now it's called third wave ska. And when you're in the bubble and you're doing it, you don't know. I mean, we didn't know. I mean, I miss. Again, we didn't have these gadgets we hold in our hand to stare at all day to get the news up to the minute. I mean, the 90s went by, and I'd get off the road, and I remember, like, girlfriends talking to me, like, there's this new show I like. Okay, well, what's that? It's called Friends. And it has been on, like, a year, and I had never seen an episode. I didn't know who Jennifer Aniston was. I was locked in a van for the 90s. We were cruising around. We were playing, upwards of 300 shows a year. I mean, it was... and while you're doing that, while you're working so hard, and we were young, we were in the moment, everything was so new and exciting that you didn't really have time to lament on things like, oh, we're part of this movement, or we're part of this ska-punk thing. We had no idea. We were just doing, having fun.
That's interesting. What genre did you guys call yourself personally before, like that? Like, did someone else label you guys ska, or like, did you guys label yourself that, or?
Everyone has to put a tag on something to market it or to write about it if you're a journalist. So early on, we got tagged as ska-punk, and we didn't mind it. I mean, most of our bands that we were running with and that we liked back then were either ska or punk rock or both. So we didn't mind the tag. I always tell people that maybe don't know what ska or punk rock is, maybe older people. I would just say, you're in a band, yeah, what do you guys like? I'm like, we're a rock band. We're, like who? I'm like, I don't know. It's like, I was, back in like the 90s, I'd say, you ever heard of Green Day? And they'd be like, yeah, I think so. Like, yeah, it's kind of like them with a horn section,
That's hilarious. That's so funny, man.
How else are you going to explain to someone? You say ska, and they go, what? Excuse me, did you sneeze? Oh, no, ska, what's that,
You almost have to be a music nerd to know exclusively ska. I feel like people know your band more than they know the genre, almost. Like just in general.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah, I think your band, like the marketing of your band superseded the genre of ska almost. Like, and I think there's a couple bands like Goldfinger, Real Big Fish. Like, I think you guys are kind of in that. As a consumer, I'd almost lump you guys in that category. Where like those bands almost like superseded like ska. Because if you told someone on the street, like, yeah, I listen to ska music. I mean, unless you're a music nerd, you probably wouldn't know, in my opinion, almost.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's definitely coming back. I mean, there's people even your age that are bringing their kids to the show now, and their kids are 8, 9, 10, 11 years old.
That's crazy.
And older. We got a lot of teenagers coming to the shows now that are going to their school wearing Less Than Jake shirts, and their friends are probably like, well, who's that? And so it's getting turned on to a new generation, and it just keeps going, which is really cool, because again, you would have told me 20 years ago, are you still going to be doing this? I mean, I couldn't fathom it. I just didn't know, I had no idea that these songs that we wrote and continue to write would mean so much to people, so many years removed.
Yeah, it's like you guys are like a member of like pop culture now, I'd say. Like, it's like interesting.
Yeah, in a weird way. We have our own little niche. We're a very interesting band. It's either you know us or you have no idea who the hell we are. It's really no middle ground. We have kind of the best of both worlds. I'm able to travel the world still and have people such as yourself want to talk to me after doing this for 28 years. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
No, it is.
I don't take it for granted. It's I'm very grateful, and it's awesome that it's still happening.
That's crazy, and this is very humble and like kind of like honest perception. It sounds like it doesn't seem like you're on your own bullshit. Like, you seem like you're just kind of a real dude, like more so.
Well, I mean, I don't have any grandiose or delusions of grandeur, what do you want to say about who we are. We're a band that just continues to work hard. I do the same thing as, people that aren't in a band. I just get up and work every day. I work as hard as I can to try to provide for my family and try to enjoy the things that I have. And I just know the older that I get, the faster the years go by. All that shit your dad told you as a kid, it all comes true. Oh, the years are going to go by faster. Yeah, whatever, Dad, you're old. And everything he said to me as a kid was right, down to getting hair on my back and my ears and my fucking nose and everything else. So it's, I would say that my whole band has the same philosophy in terms of being humble. Like we're just we're still doing it for the right reasons. We still enjoy it, and we have the most amazing fans, loyal fans that God, many of whom are our dear friends now. That we've thousands of them, great people, and it's an honor to do this still.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. I guess like people have been singing you for like decades now. Like so I guess you would get to know your fans at that point. That is kind of interesting. I never really thought about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean it's at this point it's all about staying healthy, and in terms of each guy in the band, it's like I look at bands that have been around 10 years longer than us, like Bad Religion. They're still doing it, and that band, in my opinion, that band's better than they've ever been. They just kill it when live. It's unreal. And I look at that and I go, like I told you a moment ago, if you told me 20 years ago I said we do it, like I couldn't fathom it. And now I'm like, yeah, as long as we keep our health together, we can still do this for at least another 10 because the fans are there and the memories are attached to those songs. Every time we go out, it's the same thing almost nightly. People come up and they're just like, man, and they just got it's a trip down memory lane. Man, I first saw you in college, or I first saw you at Mississippi Nights in St. Louis back in '95. Do you remember when this happened? And, they're just those memories. And we can all relate to that because we all have those memories of whatever it may be, TV shows, celebrities, music, those memories are, at the end of the day, that's what life's about,
No, I agree. Yeah, everyone does have that nostalgia. I think it's like, at least it ends up being nostalgia, I guess, but not in the moment. But no, it does make sense, man. That's cool. Like how everybody like found you, I guess, originally or something like that.
Yeah, and I've seen, off-color remarks of things over the years, past couple of years. And they'll say something like, oh, that's the J-Guy song. Now they're a nostalgia act. And you know what? Maybe they don't even really mean it, but typically when you say something like that, it's kind of off-putting. But, man, I welcome that now. I embrace that. Yeah, we're a nostalgia act. We have 30 years of music and memories that people hold on to. And if I'm a nostalgia act, I'll take it all day long because I'd rather be a nostalgia act than not have a career.
No, yeah, I wouldn't take it as an insult. Yeah, no, just I think definitely like people will try to say shit like just to make themselves feel better about not doing anything almost. Like it's usually like people who don't do anything tend to like shit talk for no reason and like but no, I think like I think being it's like like you could say in a better word like legacy or something. I think or something, I think there's just a lot of I think that's what people want really. I mean, I think if you ask people what the American dream is, I think a lot of people would say like rock star or whatever that energy is,
Yeah, and like I said a moment ago, this is a very normal life outside of, I couldn't imagine being, Madonna, Bruce Springsteen, Kurt Cobain, Dave Grohl, like these guys, they can't go anywhere. That type of celebrity is just, it's insane. But we kind of have the best of both worlds. I can go out and play a festival to, 60,000 people in Europe and play all over the U.S. and all over the world and have adoring fans. And then I can go to the store with my kids and no one knows who the hell I am, barring once in a great while. I'll get recognized, and it's awesome.
No, that is great, actually. Yeah, I couldn't imagine being that. It would just be annoying to be like Kurt Cobain or like anything like that. It would. Yeah, I feel like that would be so annoying. Like.
Yeah, it's just like I said, I wouldn't have done well with that. I wouldn't have wanted to be. I love where we're at. There was a time when you get on record labels, you want to sell records. The game was a lot different in the late '90s. At least for me, I wanted to be the biggest band in the world. I think probably everybody in my band did. And if you're in a band, that's what you want to be. And I don't want to be the biggest band in the world. I just want to be in Less Than Jake now. You know, we've already done everything I ever set out to do times 10. All the things that I thought were important, like, oh, you know, what if we sold 10 million records, or what if we, you know, could be a stadium act, like, you know, this band or that band. And you know what? There's only so many slots for those bands, and we have an amazing career, and I don't think about those things anymore. I'm able to enjoy the band now in a different way than I ever have. It's just kind of comforting. I think everybody in the band feels the same way. It's very relaxed.
That's super interesting of a perspective. That is a super interesting perspective. Sorry, I was just thinking about it. Like, that's real. And I think the internet's definitely helped too, like to where you can kind of like keep people at a distance more so too. Like to where you can just like you can like post things and just like you said like to all these people in different areas, and you can just like walk down the street still. I think that's helped. I think the internet's helped out immensely with that.
Yeah, you know, every once in a while, it's like I live in a really small town. I live in Tennessee. I mean, it's population 2,200. You know, about 10 minutes away, there's a Lowe's hardware store. I was in there about a year ago when I first moved here, and I was in the paint section. And there's this woman in there, and she got kind of like purple streaks in her hair, you know. And I said, excuse me, and I started talking to her, and she got this weird-ass look on her face. She's just like, can I ask you a question? I said, she goes, do you play in a band? I said, I certainly do. And she goes, oh, my God. She goes, what are you doing here? I said, I live here. And she goes, why?
Dude, that's hilarious.
You know, and that'll happen, like, you know, barring if I'm in Gainesville and if I'm out at a punk rock club or something, you know, I know people there and I'm going to get recognized. But, you know, for the most part, anywhere I go in the world, it's very, very few times. And when I do get recognized, it's instances like I just told you. It's just hilarious shit like that. And I sat there and, you know, every time I'm in there, you know, whenever I go to Lowe's, I see her. And a couple months ago, I was in there, and this is, we were at a show scheduled in Nashville this month that got canceled, but she was going to drive over to Nashville and see us, and she was talking about, she said, I think I'm going to go see you guys. I said, hey, write your name down. I'll put you on the guest list. She's like, are you serious? I'm like, absolutely. You know, I'll take care of you. But show didn't end up happening, but yeah, she's a big fan, and so when things like that happen, they're fun.
No, that's awesome, man. Like, and that's definitely, like you said, like the best of both worlds, where you can be anonymous or you could be like that. It's like that's definitely a way better level of fame, I think, personally, with music. I think.
Yeah.
It's like I don't think, like you said, you couldn't handle. I don't think Kurt Cobain handled it either. Like I don't think any of these people could. I used to almost be a complete psychopath to want that forever. Yeah. Like when you're young, like, that makes sense though. But I think go ahead, brother. Sorry.
Yeah, and I've been out with my celebrity friends. You know, I have, you know, some very famous friends, and you know, we'll go out somewhere, and it gets weird, man. You know, and I'm quote unquote in the business. I've been around it enough to where it doesn't weird me out, but I'll just like, you know, have to bail with them and just like be like, oh, let's get the hell out of here, because it's just after a while you can no longer just sit and have a drink or sit and enjoy yourself and have food when you're getting pestered every 2 seconds for a picture or for an autograph. And then now, if you turn people down, you're a dickhead, you know? And that's always pissed me off. It's like, I ran into Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin at a hotel we were staying at in London some years ago, about 10 years ago. And I come down, we're getting ready to go to the gig, to the show, and the van was outside waiting to pick the band up. And I'm riding down the elevator with Roger, our bass player, and the hotel elevator opens up. We turn a corner, and you have to walk past the bar to get outside. And we're walking along, and I stopped him. I grab a Roger's arm, I go, holy shit, dude. He goes, what? I go, that's fucking Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin. He goes, no. Because Jimmy at this point stopped dyeing his hair. It was fully white. And I had recently seen a picture of him. I go, dude, that's Jimmy fucking Page. He's like, no. And we get up closer. He's like, holy shit, it is. So I'm like, okay, I gotta do this. So I went over and I said, excuse me, hi, Jimmy, I'm a big fan. Would you mind if I had a photo? And he just looked at me really polite. And he goes, I'd rather not. And I said, thank you. You have a great night. And I just kept walking. I was disappointed for myself. I wanted a picture. Not for bragging rights, not for anything else. I just would love to have had a picture with Jimmy Page. I think you're probably one of, like, outside of my family and the close friends, that maybe one of 10 people I've ever told the story to. And the only reason I'm telling it is I've never held any ill will toward him for that. Because, could you imagine? I mean, it's all fucking day long. Can I have your picture? Have your picture? Like, you know, you can't even breathe. So I can see it from both sides.
Yeah, and it's gotta be weird for like it's just gotta be weird, and like I feel like Michael Jackson, like a guy like that, like is so recognizable. To like a guy like Jimmy Page, like I feel like could look different almost, like but Michael Jackson always looked the same. He had like the same like complexion, same like whatever, you know what I mean, like no nose, you know what I mean, type shit. To where like that guy couldn't like hide in public. I feel like more so. Where, like regular guys could. I mean, not regular guys, but like regular rock stars probably could more so. I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's just like there's no off switch. I think when you get there, and I think when you're young, I mean, like when I was 19, you asked me. Like I relate to what you said there. When I was 19, you asked me what I want to do. Like I want to be the most famous person in the world or some shit, you know. But then like as you get older, you're just like that would suck. it's like that would literally suck.
Yeah, it was like, and we had a taste of it in England. We blew up over there in the early 2000s. We had a record label that put a ton of money into us. And got us on TV, got us on the radio, got us into every magazine, and we'd wake up in the morning and our tour bus would be surrounded with 300-400 fans wanting autographs, and it was amazing. And at the time, I remember saying to myself, we always had a really, really honest outlook on all of this. We always knew, we knew back then, it's like, okay, unless we all of a sudden have like a couple like massive hit singles and go through the stratosphere and become, superstars like, Foo Fighters or Green Day or something, this isn't going to probably last. So enjoy this while you can. And we still do awesome over in England, but back then we were doing, 3 nights at the London Astoria, which held 2,500 people. So we would do 7,000 tickets sold out for 3 nights.
Damn.
And it was crazy, man. I'd get off the tour bus and I'd want to go to the record store, and I'd be followed by kids, and they'd be talking to me the whole time. And it was awesome, and it wasn't anywhere near what superstars get. I mean, it was close. We were a very, very big band, and we still are in England. But it was crazy. And I just remember at some point just stepping back from it a second, go, you know what, Chris, just kind of enjoy this, because again, if we didn't go to that next level to sustain that type of fame, it was going to be fleeting, and it was. It didn't. Our tour bus isn't surrounded by kids anymore over there. It turned back, went back to normal, which is nice.
I think that's a very humble perception, right? Because I would consider your band still really big. Like, I mean, I think, like, I get what you're saying to where, like, it may not be the same as, like, it was at some one point or something. Like, I would still consider your band, like, huge, like, honestly. Like, as a consumer, though, you know what I mean? Like, but I think, like, it's, like, from your perspective, like, you're just, like, I think you're a more humble dude, and, you have to live the day-to-day with being yourself, you know what I mean? Where you don't see the outside perception of yourself, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to downplay who we are, what we've meant to people, or where our place is in the musical scope or on all that shit, but I just, it is what it is. We're a working man's band. I got 5 guys in this band that we do a once a week a conference video meeting together. We talk about what's going to go on for the next week. We're all on the same page. We've always been on the same page. And we treat this as, I hate using the word business, but that's what we treat it as. It's our business. It's our livelihood. It's what we are passionate about. It's what we care about. And we continue to till the soil, so to speak, and continue to make it exciting and fresh, not only for us, but for the fans.
Interesting. Yeah, you seem like really down to earth, man. I like that. But before we talk for like 9 more hours, I guess like we'll keep this kind of like shorter. What you started a podcast too recently? And is that out yet or?
Yeah. So my debut episode. I don't know when my episode with you is going to air, but my episode will probably be out by then. This coming Monday in a couple days from now, it's June 1st, 2020. My first episode airs. You can find it on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you find podcasts. I also have a YouTube channel that you can get direct if you go to DeMakes.com. It takes you to the YouTube channel. All the episodes will be on my YouTube channel. And, the podcast I have, it revolves around songwriting. That's the theme of my podcast. So I have guests every week. The first guest I'm having on the first week is John Feldman from Goldfinger. And I have my guests pick one defining song from their career that we discuss, analyze, and break apart, fully in-depth discuss discussion of how the song came about, the inspiration, the chord changes, the melody, what was the reaction, how did you record it, who produced it, just everything you can think about with the song, his stories associated with the song, etc. And yeah, it's great. John Feldman, I've recorded. I did a bunch before it's going to air. I have them recorded already. So I have John Feldman, Brian Baker from Bad Religion, Mike Herrera from MXPX, Cyrus Belushi, the drummer for Newfound Glory, Howard Benson, who is a world-renowned producer who produced Less Than Jake's Hello Rock You record. I interviewed Howard for it. So a bunch of great guests. Jared Reddick from Bowling for Soup, Chris number 2 from Anti-Flag, and a whole host of other people. I got a bunch more lined up, so I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome. That's quite the guest list. After you said that, I'm like, I don't even have a podcast. I'm like, is this even a real podcast? After I just heard your guest list, I'm like, damn, that's awesome. I'm actually kind of hyped to like hear that shit. And I don't listen. I may be listening to like 2 or 3 podcasts, but I would definitely check that out. Like the guest list is crazy.
For your listeners out there, it's called Chris DeMakes a podcast.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
and you can join our Facebook group, Chris DeMakes a podcast, and all you have to do it's a private group. All you have to do to join is just submit who you'd like to see me have on the show, and then you're in the group. So I have that going on. I also have been doing, for some time now, custom songs for people. So if you want a song for your business, for your brand, for your friend, for your anniversary, for your wife, for your birthday, for yourself, I will write you a custom song. So again, write me at chrisdemakes.com, or excuse me, chrisdemakes@gmail.com for more info on that. I'm also doing live one-on-one video consultations through Zoom or Skype that you basically, if you have a song you'd like to work on with me, lyrics, melodies, chords, you have a band that has questions about the music industry or anything in between, I'm here to offer my guidance and wisdom with that. So that's been going really, really well. Found a band the other day that had hired me for a video session out of Naples, Florida, and these guys are killer. They're a young band. It's only 2 of them, the bass player and guitarist, and they have had done some guys, session drummers and stuff, playing their stuff. But I would have never have ever stumbled across these guys if I hadn't done that. So that was pretty neat. And I got a book coming out in August on Smart Punk Records. It's my first book, as I mentioned earlier, from all my Instagram stories that I put together. It's 365 pictures and a story that goes along with it, and I'm really excited about that. And Less Than Jake has a new record. It's going to be coming out in September. It's called Silver Lining. It's the first record to feature our new drummer, Matt Yonker. And we're super excited about that. We've been releasing songs the past, since we haven't been on the road touring. We have released 1 song so far. The next song's coming out on June 5th. It's called The Lost at Home Session. So basically, each guy in the band, we all have our own home studios. So we've been writing songs, and we'll just send the tracks to each other and play on them. And then we take the song and then we put it up for sale on our Bandcamp page, and we're also giving proceeds with each song to charity. So we're doing a different charity with each song, and that's been awesome as well.
That's all. Yeah, it sounds like you're super busy, man. Like that's awesome. I like the ambition. Not all people have that. But dude, no, sorry.
No, I was gonna say it's been really good to have a little bit of time off here, because I've been able to concentrate on a lot of these things. The podcast I've been wanting to do for a while is just really getting the time and because, as you know, getting guests and doing this, it isn't just talking to people. There's a lot that goes on beyond it. You got to edit the episode. It's work, So, but it's been a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely worth it, man. Like the best part is I think the way you're kind of utilizing it too. Although it seems like you knew a lot of these people prior, in my gut feeling. But I feel like just it's an excuse to have a conversation with anybody in the entire world. Like no matter who you want to talk to, you're like, wow, this would be cool to talk to this person. I think that's from my perspective, that's the coolest part of it. But then to even get listeners involved with it, I mean, is a blessing. I think that how many people just have shit that no one listens to. You know what I mean? It's like. So it's just like crazy, like how you describe the band thing, almost like that this is even a thing. Like you could talk to you could talk to rock stars in your living room just by like having a podcast. It's like kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, it's completely leveled the playing field, you know, and anyone can do this, and that's what makes it cool. It's not like you have to, you know, be some guy that got his own show on a radio station down the road. You know, anyone can do this.
Well, don't tell them the secret. Like, now the listeners know they're not going to be listeners anymore. They're going to have their own shows.
Well, no, I mean that in a good way. It's
Me
like,
too.
you know, yeah, there's a ton of things out there. You know, I'm picky and choosy. You know, I get asked a lot to do a lot of these, and you know, there's sometimes if I have time, you know, the kid out of his bedroom that has 100 followers, I'll do his podcast. But lately, I've been busy enough to where I just haven't had time, which is a good thing.
No, it sounds like it. And that's how you market yourself. You say yes to everything. In my opinion, that's what I would do. I would do those shows too. Like just because like you get one listener off that. I mean, who cares? Like, you mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
But dude, yeah, we'll end up blabbing forever. But dude, thank you for coming on here. Throw out your Instagram and like Twitter, whatever else you want to throw on for people to follow or anything like that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Once again, you can find me at Chris DeMakes at gmail.com. It's where you can write me. You can find me at chrisdemakes.com, and that's DEMAKES. I'm also on Instagram at LessThanChrisD, on Twitter at LessThanChris, and my Facebook page is Chris DeMakes Official. You can find me on there. And of course, like I said, you know, Less Than Jake has got a bunch of stuff lined up this year, a new record. So, you know, LessThanJake.com. You can find Less Than Jake on all the social media stuff. So we'll be seeing you guys down the road.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to be on the show, Chris. And thank you very much, man.
Yeah, Anthony, you take care. Best of luck to you, and I'll see you next time on St. Louis.
Cool.